Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of Randumb Behavior. I'm Potter,
And I'm Joe.
and today we'll be talking about
RuPaul's Drag Race. Yes!
I was like, how do you respond to that?
Hey, it's for the viewing public, right?
I guess.
And drag queens.
But how long is Drag Race still even going on?
It's been 11 seasons plus 4 All-Star seasons. And so until the 20th season, RuPaul doesn't have an obligation.
What do you mean doesn't have an obligation?
Well, she signed up for like 20 seasons. So, VH1 has mandated that,
Oh, so she has to do 20 seasons. But okay, so if it's, you said how many? There's 11.
There's 11 seasons and
Four of
four
them
All-Star seasons.
So that's a total of 15?
15.
So she has 5 more seasons to go.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, regular seasons. I don't know about, the All-Star seasons.
The All Stars doesn't count as a season?
It's a super season. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't read the contract, so it's just been put out through the media. And correct me if I'm wrong. Put the comments down below if you want to disagree.
All right. Well, I mean, I stopped watching that years ago, so I actually don't know what's going on with this whole Drag Race thing.
Who do you remember from?
To be honest, I don't remember their names. I remember a bunch of fighting. There was one person, like, after the season ended or whatever, came out and said something about how it was unfair, how they made them feel like they were the villain. So they did the whole reality TV type thing where they would take the entire clip and then cut them in certain portions where it sounds like they're the bad guy.
That's a lot of seasons. I mean, Roxy Andrews on the second All-Star season said, "I blame the edit." And knowing full well that whatever you say in front of the camera is free and fair use.
That's true. They all signed a contract that anything behind the camera is for the, what is it?
For free use.
Yeah.
They use it. I mean, it's proprietary. Whatever you say on camera is proprietary.
There is an actual term for it, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I wanted to say disclaimer, but I don't think that's it.
Yes. So, I mean, I believe that, and plus besides, RuPaul has a cult following.
What do you mean by that?
Let me just say, Mother Ru, God bless you. I remember you from back in the days on VH1 and the RuPaul show and Michelle Visage and the Olivia trivia show. So episode, excuse me. And you had beaten Olivia in her own trivia show, which was amazing. But ever since 2008, when you started RuPaul's Drag Race, I was over the moon and gagged.
Wait, it started in 2008?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it had that, very, Barbara Walters-esque soft focus.
You said that earlier before we started filming. What do you mean by Barbara Walters?
If you look through YouTube, and every time that she would interview someone, it would have this hazy, glowy light.
Is this like a hazy, glowy light going on right now?
No, it's quite the opposite. I think it's just real HD.
Well, this is a real HD camera.
Oh, I know. I mean, and I love it. And so, I mean, and there's been so many, going back to what I was saying, is going back to the spin-offs of RuPaul's Drag Race. There's a YouTube or YouTube's videos, excuse me, on World of what is it called? Wow.
World of Wow.
Well, actually, it's World of Wonder Productions. So, excuse me. I love you guys.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
It's the production company that produces RuPaul's Drag Race and the spin-offs.
Okay.
Above and beyond RuPaul's Drag Race, the RuPaul show. I mean, you have one of the drag queens, Alyssa Edwards, having her own show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So some of these stars actually end up being, I guess, even more famous?
Very famous. I mean, Trixie and Katya have their own show. It's called the Trixie and Katya Show.
What's that about?
Basically the same thing that we're doing out of drag.
Is it like they're just talking in front of the camera, or are they doing like little skits and stuff like a Key and Peele?
Just think of it as a variety show while sitting down, much like we are.
But variety shows. Okay, so in the few episodes I've seen of RuPaul, they would do something called a variety show as a challenge, right?
They would do something called the Snatch Game.
Oh, okay.
And so the queens would...
Well, because the Snatch Game is a real game.
Yeah, but it's called the Match Game.
Is it the Match Game?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I thought it was always called the Snatch Game.
I mean, it's the essential match game. So, for example, Silly Sally is so silly.
Uh-huh.
When she did blank, she farted.
Okay.
And then
everyone has to guess what the two contestants are thinking.
Right.
So you have to basically get inside their heads to find out what they would say.
Yep.
As an answer. But that's the version of the Match Game. The Snatch Game was different, right? You would have to think of what the character that they were embodying would say. Right?
Yes, they would have to serve that impersonation realness, as they say.
Like so it's not thinking of what the actual contestant is gonna say, it's what
the actual person would say.
Yeah, so like if you were dressed up as Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera, you would answer like how they would answer.
Very much so.
And like try and talk like them, act like them, look like them, all that. That's pretty talented right there.
Yeah, I mean, all the Snatch Games have been just, you could separate, excuse me. Ugh.
Salivate.
You could separate the girls from the women by the way that they're doing or portraying their character.
Would explain girls from the women, because those are all guys.
Yes, but we always have to remember that gentlemen start your engines and may the best woman win.
Okay.
And so it demonstrates with the impersonation of that particular celebrity or character that they would obviously answer in the way that that person is being perceived, and making RuPaul laugh, and how uncanny and similar to their impersonation to that real person.
What does this have to do between women and girls?
I'm just saying it as for value. For like
experience.
Experience, yes.
So like the more experienced you are, the more of the woman that they're impersonating.
Right.
But then the less experienced, then you're just like a tiny little girl putting on your mom's makeup.
Very much so. So for example, one iconic Snatch Game was, and no shade, absolutely don't read me for saying no tea, no shade, was Tatiana's Ariana Grande. And I know that she bombed the challenge because she was not Ariana Grande. She was just a more soft-spoken version of Tatiana. And I live and love Tatiana. I just,
Tatiana was like in one of the beginning seasons, right?
She was in season 2, yes. And she did Britney Spears, and she was on point. And I think capturing the essence of pop princesses.
So when did she show up again?
Season 2 of All
No.
Stars.
Oh, of All Stars. So, okay, how many seasons do they usually have before they do an All Star season?
Well, the first All Star season, I believe, was done after season 5.
Okay.
And then the latest All Star season was done, I think, after season 9. But correct me if I'm wrong, and please make it known in the comment section below.
Sure. I was like, or we can like just use our phones, but I can't currently do that.
No.
But then there's only 11 seasons. But you said there was 3 All-Star seasons
There's
already.
4.
There's 4 All-Star seasons.
Yes.
If there's 4 All-Star seasons and they did the second one after the 9th season, right?
8th or 9th season, yeah.
And there's 11 seasons total. So when did the 3rd and the 4th one show up? And
the 3rd one was last year, and the 4th one was just completed in the winter, this past winter.
So usually when the All-Star seasons consist of that bulk of that bulk of seasons that was prior to it.
It's a mix of seasons.
Really?
So for example, the 2nd season had Tatiana and 5 other cast members: Detox, Roxy Andrews, Alaska, and Coco Montrese, as well as Katya and Ginger Minge, and I can't remember the other ones, and I'm so sorry. But
sidetrack right quick. When like say you have like a little sister that's in elementary school and she's listing all of her friends as if you know them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel like right now.
I mean, there's been over 120 drag queens that have stepped foot inside the workroom.
Okay.
And it's, like I thought that I could, meet all of them, before I die, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be like Pokemon.
I mean, have you met any of them, talked to any of them, taken pictures with any of them? Because I know that they show up to events every so often in certain areas. Like here in San Francisco, I'm pretty sure they would be in the Castro.
Oh no, I've seen them at like Disneyland, clubs and bars, out of drag. I mean,
in and out of drag. So
and out of drag.
Like you recognize them in their non-drag form.
Yes, in their boy trade form.
So when you approach them, do you get all starstruck, or do you say, "Hey, what's up?" Or like do you just like casually approach them, call them by their drag name or their boy name?
I call them by their drag name because, and I do my best to have that very photogenic or photographic memory.
Okay.
If I may say so. Like I saw Raven at Disneyland, and she is an annual pass holder.
Oh, nice.
And so I went up to her, and this was during the time that they were about to debut All-Star Season 1, and had went up to her, and I was like, it would be amazing if you lip-synced against Manila Luzon from Season 3.
Aren't they like best friends or something? So I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not.
I think they're sisters from another mister.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I have friends that talk about them, and they're like, I'm like completely lost in the entire conversation.
Right. What seasons do you remember?
To be honest, it's been years. Like, I'll catch certain, because I had friends that were like super into it, and then since I would hang out with them, they would be watching it on their TV. Like, for example, this isn't RuPaul, but I would go down to LA and stay with one of my friends, and they were always watching Top Model.
Ah, okay. There's
Right.
a lot of drag queens that have been that have competed on Drag Race that were
On Top Model.
on Top Model.
As a model or as a designer?
Both.
Oh, wait. Top Model is just models, right? They're not designing. What's the one where you're designing clothes?
That is Project Runway.
Project Runway. So, yeah, so Top Model, Project Runway, those are the ones I would see when I stay with friends.
Mm-hmm.
One reason, because I kind of, I don't have a choice. It's their house.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah,
right?
if I'm staying there and they're watching TV and I can't go nowhere, then, you know, I'm watching it with them. And I was just like, some of it's interesting. It's like, okay, so, because I'm a freelance photographer, right? Like, I used to be, I still kind of am. So, watching how the models, for example, would walk down the walk, how they would pose, it would give me ideas whenever I would do a photo shoot, because a lot of the people I would do shoots with, they're kind of like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to pose. And I'm like, but you're kind of like a model. And they're like, yeah, but I'm always told what to do. And I'm like, but you should know your own body. Like, what looks good on you? What doesn't look good on you? It's like, I can tell you what to do, but just to let you know, I'm going to move you in certain directions. Like, because a lot of people, they don't like being touched.
Right.
And in a lot of contracts, that's how it's set. In my contracts, I'm going to say that if I feel like your arm isn't moving the way I want it to, I will physically touch you and move your arm.
Well, I think that drag queens, in some senses, have to really practice in front of a mirror. And, you know, they learn through photos, which is an amazing thing because I am not very photogenic.
Are you a drag queen secretly?
I would like to say I'm not a practicing queen, but I'm a theoretical queen.
What does that mean?
That there are elements of
you picture
practice.
It in your head that if you had like this type of special wig and then your eye makeup was a certain way using like Snapchat filters. No,
could be, but I mean it's just basic like drag 101. Thinking of the theory before they put it into practice.
What is drag 101? Like, you make it sound like it's a class.
Oh, isn't just drag a class or even just a major of itself?
I honestly haven't.
To be honest, like drag has been with us ever since the times of Shakespeare.
That is true. I mean, they do dress up in like they'll play the opposite genders in their like theater productions and stuff like that. But it's basically it's a show, right?
Right.
So that's what they and that's what these
contestants, drag queens.
Yeah, I actually I don't know what to call them. It's like I wasn't sure if you're supposed to call them queens. So it's like because they do like shows and stuff as well in different places. Like some of them are, I guess, residents in certain bars or whatever.
That's very true.
Like what is it? We have a place here called SF Asia, right?
Asia SF.
Asia SF. My friend's gonna slap me because he's one of the choreographers for that place. Because I said something when I found out. He was like, "Oh yeah, I am a dance choreographer," and I'm like, "Oh, where do you work at?" And he mentioned it. I was like, "Oh, that's where all the drag queens are." And he was like, "Don't ever say that because it's highly offended because there are actually, what do you call them? Transgenders?"
Yes.
That actually perform there as well. And they don't want to be known as drag queens because that's not what they are.
All right.
And I was like, oh, I did not know that.
Right.
So,
affirming gender identity in, to that extent. But I was even going to say, do you remember, back on the topic, I was wondering if you remember any of the catchphrases from the RuPaul's Drag Race episodes that you watched.
What do you mean by catchphrases? Like from RuPaul herself or from the contestants?
From the contestants.
From the contestants? No, I don't think I do. It's been so long, like my memory's like slightly shot. So I'll remember certain things, like when Tatiana was dressed as Britney Spears and she acted hella ditzy, and it was like, hey, she really seems like she is Britney Spears, right? Or when there was one Asian person.
There have been many.
Jujubee. Yeah, that's what he, for like say the Snatch game, he dressed up as
Kimora Lee Simmons.
And the thing that he did with his makeup was he added the little rolls on the neck. And I'm like, that's hella fucked up.
Hey, but you're portraying the character, so that's legally allowed.
That is true. And then, like, you'll see certain characters where they'll, like, I think one character acted like, they dressed up like Pink, but...
Morgan McMichaels.
They didn't actually act like Pink.
That is season 2 Morgan McMichaels.
So yeah, so I guess I'm still only slightly familiar with the beginning seasons.
Right.
Because that's the only times I would really see them.
Right.
I don't really know anything else afterwards. I remember there was like a thing called Untucked, which I think it's still a thing, right? Like,
yes!
That's where all the drama happens, and that's where everyone talks about it. And it's like, you see all the, like...
The backstage drama.
Yeah.
Whatever was put on the cutting room floor
is
put into this like second segment, which is instrumental because for all you viewers out there, you need to watch Untucked, because if you're not watching Untucked, you're only getting half of the story.
Now here's the question, because is the actual show kind of staged in a way, or is it like all free will? Does that make sense?
I don't think that... Well, obviously the challenges, because you're putting 14 people through the ringer.
Oh, is it 14 people originally?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're putting 14 people through the ringer, and the challenges are fixed. It's not the drama and whatever comes left. You know? I don't even think that, the eliminations are fixed. I wholeheartedly believe that if you don't put in the effort in the maxi challenge,
then you won't.
Then you'll be lip syncing for your life, and ultimately you'll be going home.
But don't some people like rely on the lip sync? Like they know for a fact they're always going to be on the bottom, so they practice to be the best lip syncer ever.
Don't get me wrong, I love lip sync assassins, but
what's a lip sync assassin?
Like they just kill it during the lip sync, in which they perform the hell out of that song.
Okay.
And they turn, literally get Mama Ru's attention.
See, the thing about the lip syncing part that I think turned me away from not even wanting to like watch it on my own was that it all ended like there was always that thing where they drop on their leg and it looks like that weird awkward position where you can break your ankle off.
Oh, so they do the death drop.
Yeah, whatever that thing's called, the death drop. And I was like, it's like if you do that, then automatically you think you're a sure thing to win, but you have to at least put it in one of your performances. And I'm like,
the standard.
Why?
It's a standard. It's the standard in lip syncing.
Not necessarily. You could still do a regular good performance without having to do that extravagant drop.
I beg to differ, but I would say it's one of the many tools that have worked in the favor of drag queens.
I guess, but I mean, I've never been to an actual show, like in general, so I don't know. But do you know if like drag queens or the transgenders or whatever, like if they actually all do death drops during their performances?
Some do, some don't.
I mean, if the song matches with it, then cool. But if, like, say you're doing a song where it doesn't sound like it could include a death drop?
Death drop.
Death drop. And they do one, does it kind of pull away from the performance, from the song that they're using?
I mean, it's kind of one of those tools to wow the crowd. And so I know that there are some queens and some routines, they do a death drop, and some of them don't.
Okay.
So, I mean, the folks, the queens that do the death drop, memorable ones, I mean, too many to list, but, I mean, it's common.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily required.
True.
But it is one of the many tools that drag
they
queens
can use in their arsenal.
Right.
What are some of the other arsenals that they can use in their performances?
Wig reveals.
Like they reveal theirs, or they pull someone else's?
No,
off?
they reveal another wig underneath their wig.
Oh, that's interesting.
they take off their wig.
So when their like main wig in the beginning be like super huge,
Yes.
and then it's like those China eggs.
Oh yeah. I mean, wig reveals, 2-in-1 looks where they reveal a whole entire different outfit.
I've seen those. Those are actually pretty cool. Like
I know.
not even just there, just in general. Like a bunch of fashion designers are doing the transformation, the Cinderella dress reveal.
Right.
I guess you could call it.
Right.
And I was like, that's actually pretty cool. Like on social media a couple years back or whatever, there was a father that sewed together a dress for his daughter, and it's like consistent where she just spins around in a circle and then reveals a princess gown from like the same type of movie that she's acting from.
Right. Very much so, and that's part of the drag assassin's arsenal.
So that's what they rely on but I mean, if they rely on that, they can obviously take that same talent and put it into the challenges to make themselves like worthy of trying to win. Maybe
it's something for them to survive the lip sync, and they have to use everything in their capacity to Shantae and stay.
all right.
And then the person, I mean, it's all up to Mama Ru's discretion.
Of course. It's her show, his show, her show. I always get confused with these things. It's like, it's whatever she wants. Like if she likes this character but doesn't like that character, even if like she may even throw favoritisms, perhaps.
I don't
You don't think so? Do you think she bases it purely on talent?
It purely based on how they performed in the challenges.
Okay.
I mean, that's why they have the other judges, Michelle Visage, Ross Matthews,
And then they have
Carson
guests-
Kressley.
They have guests.
They have
judges,
guests,
too.
yeah.
Okay. So like if she's like specifically all for this person, but then the other people are like, what are you talking about? They can always like talk about it, and then she'd be like, oh yeah, you're right. Like I'm only doing this because I like this person, but then their talents are really like not that great.
It's based on merit and each challenge.
Okay. But the final decision is always
Mama Ru's to
hers.
make.
Well, that's interesting. I don't know. And so you said they're currently on the 11th
They're
season?
on the current 11th season.
But in reality, it's the 15th season.
I like to say, in quantifying this justly, I believe that the All-Star seasons are super seasons and are not even in the same category of just the regular season. Because it's like any other All-Star show. So it's taken at a much higher level than a regular season.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the question that I asked you is like, do you remember any catchphrases?
I really don't.
So one of my students, or actually my third grade class, when I was many moons ago, would use it as an after-school teacher.
Oh, your student would use it.
No, I would
You
use
would use
it.
it.
I would
Okay,
use it,
that
and
would've
then they would just be all like, "You can't say that! You can't say that!" And so I would say, "Sorry about it. I've had it officially," and do the tongue pop.
What is the tongue? How do you do the tongue pop? Wait, you just did it, didn't you?
Yeah, you have to. Okay, so you have to, with the water bottle, wet your mouth.
Okay.
So
That's just.
please correct
Do
me,
you gotta-
Alyssa Edwards.
Do you gotta like lift your head up like that for like hella long before you like?
It's everybody does it differently, and Alyssa Edwards and Laganja Estranja, please correct me if I'm doing it right. Practice makes perfect. So please let your comments known below in the comment section.
I was like, I'm pretty sure that these tongue pops have different sound effects depending on how you do it. But the way you did it was just so hilarious in my head. You're just like, it was like setting up to do like a sonic boom.
Hey, I mean, I think that's the intention, right?
I guess
So it's like, you know, every tongue pop is different. It's like a snowflake. It's not all the same.
But there are where you can be consistent and make the same sound effect. Because I know someone that was practicing this for days. And they were like, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, well, people in my dance class were doing this tongue pop. And it's like, I'm trying to do the same one, but I can't.
There's
make
a
the same
YouTube
sound.
video. There's a
And I'm
YouTube
like-
video by Alyssa Edwards that demonstrates how to properly do a tongue pop. It's
Hold your head up for like 5 seconds.
that's how I do it, but I think the rules I think the essential concepts of the tongue pop.
Uh-huh.
Alyssa Edwards did not put any kind of methodology or guidelines to how to produce one. So I think it's however you get that click from the tongue popping.
What if I just go, is that different?
Hey, your tongue pop is different. I mean, you know,
I don't know.
you're born naked and the rest is drag.
Yeah, you know what? On that note, this has been this week's episode of Randumb Behavior. I'm Potter.
I'm Joe, and follow me on Instagram at valleyjoe.sfgta on Instagram.
I'll put it down as a link below. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.
Check us next time.